Responsibility centers in manufacturing. What does that even mean? If you're in the manufacturing industry or involved in any business operations, you've likely heard the term thrown around. But what does it really entail? Let's dive into the concept of responsibility centers, explore their types, and understand why they're crucial for maximizing profitability and efficiency in manufacturing. First off, let's define what a responsibility center is. In simple terms, a responsibility center is a specific unit or department within a manufacturing company that has designated responsibilities and performance metrics. Think of it as a mini-business within the larger organization. Each responsibility center is tasked with achieving specific goals, whether that's generating revenue, controlling costs, or managing investments. By breaking down operations into these centers, companies can better monitor performance, allocate resources effectively, and make informed decisions. Now, there are 4 primary types of responsibility centers: revenue centers, profit centers, cost centers, and investment centers. Each serves a unique purpose and has different metrics for measuring success. Let's start with revenue centers. These are the departments responsible for generating income. Think sales and marketing teams. The main goal here is pretty straightforward: to maximize revenue. Performance is typically measured through metrics like sales revenue, customer acquisition rates, and retention rates. If you're in a revenue center, your focus is on driving sales and expanding the customer base. It's all about generating that cash flow. Next up, we have profit centers. These centers are responsible not just for generating revenue, but for turning that revenue into profit. This could include production departments or specific product lines. Here, the metrics shift to gross margins, net profits, and return on investment. The aim is to ensure that the money coming in is more than what's going out. If you're managing a profit center, you're constantly looking for ways to improve efficiency and reduce costs while maximizing profitability. Then we have cost centers. These are slightly different. They focus primarily on managing and controlling costs. Departments like human resources or administration typically fall into this category. The goal is to keep expenses in check. Performance metrics here could include cost per unit, budget adherence, and cost reduction targets. If you're working in a cost center, your job is to ensure that the company is operating efficiently and that resources are being used wisely. Finally, we have investment centers. These are responsible for managing assets and investments, such as research and development departments or capital expenditures. The key metric for investment centers is the return on investment. If you're in an investment center, you're tasked with ensuring that the money spent leads to profitable outcomes, whether through new product development or capital projects. Now that we've covered the basics, let's look at some real-world examples of companies that have successfully implemented responsibility centers. Take, for instance, a large automotive manufacturing company. Before they adopted this structure, they functioned with a centralized approach, where decisions came from the top down and departments operated independently. Once they established responsibility centers, they categorized their departments into revenue, profit, and cost centers, each with specific targets and performance metrics. The results were impressive. The revenue center exceeded its targets for customer acquisition, leading to a significant boost in overall revenue. The profit center improved its margins and reduced costs per unit, which translated to increased profitability. Meanwhile, the cost center managed to cut expenses and improve efficiency. The company not only improved its financial performance, but also fostered a culture of accountability among employees, as everyone was aware of their specific goals and responsibilities. Another example is ABC Manufacturing, a medium-sized company producing automobile parts. They implemented responsibility centers to enhance operational efficiency. The sales department became a revenue center, with a sales manager responsible for hitting targets. The production department turned into a profit center, focusing on maximizing profits through cost reduction measures. The administrative department served as a cost center, managing operating expenses effectively. Lastly, their research and development team acted as an investment center, responsible for innovating new products. The result? A more aligned organization, improved communication, and increased profitability. So, how do companies determine which type of responsibility center to use? It all boils down to their objectives and structure. A company focused on growth might lean towards revenue centers, while one aiming for profitability might prioritize profit centers. The size of the company also plays a role. Smaller firms might adopt a more centralized structure, while larger ones can afford to have distinct centers. Implementing responsibility centers has numerous benefits. For starters, it increases accountability. When each department knows what they're responsible for, it becomes easier to pinpoint areas that need improvement. This accountability often translates to higher motivation and productivity among employees. Additionally, responsibility centers promote better decision-making. With clear objectives, departments are empowered to make choices that align with their goals, leading to quicker and more informed decisions. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are potential drawbacks to relying too heavily on responsibility centers. For instance, they can create silos where departments become overly focused on their objectives, losing sight of the bigger picture. There's also a risk of reduced flexibility, as departments may struggle to adapt quickly to changing market conditions. And let's not forget the challenge of measuring overall performance when each center is focused on its metrics. Implementing responsibility centers also comes with its own set of challenges. Defining the responsibilities of each center can be tricky, especially in a complex manufacturing environment. Establishing appropriate performance and metrics that reflect each center's objectives is another hurdle. Plus, you have to allocate resources effectively, ensuring that each center has what it needs to succeed without competing for limited resources. So, how can a company ensure that its responsibility centers align with its overall business strategy? It starts with defining clear company objectives. Once those are established, the responsibility centers should be designed to support those objectives. Assigning clear responsibilities and creating incentives for achieving goals can further enhance alignment. Regular communication and reviews are essential to keep everyone on track and ensure that adjustments are made as the business evolves. Technology plays a vital role in supporting responsibility centers too. Automated reporting can streamline performance tracking, while integrated systems ensure that all departments have access to accurate, up-to-date information. Advanced data analytics can help identify trends and make better decisions. Collaboration tools can enhance communication between centers, breaking down those pesky silos. In conclusion, responsibility centers are more than just a management tool. They're a framework for driving performance, accountability, and profitability in manufacturing. By understanding their types, benefits, and challenges, companies can harness the power of responsibility centers to improve operations and remain competitive in an ever-evolving landscape. Whether you're part of a revenue center, profit center, cost center, or investment center, the key is to work together towards common goals while keeping an eye on the overall company strategy. So, if you're in manufacturing or any business environment, consider how responsibility centers can help you and your organization thrive.